Right then, let's have a wee look at homework sheet 12. Very, very similar to last week's, of course. So 3x minus 1 times 2x add 3. So I'm going to do this one with our little diagrams. So we've got 3x's and a negative 1. And then we've got 2x's and positive 3. Okay, so an x times an x is a square, x times an x is a square, x times an x is a square, and because this negative 1 here, then that's going to turn it into a negative x. Then another row exactly the same, another negative x here, and then we're multiplying by 1, so that just means write down the row again, so x, 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 and a negative 1, x, 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 and a negative 1, x, 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 and a negative 1. Now if we look at what we've got all together, we've got an x squared, we've got another one, another one, another one, another one, another one, so we've got 6x squareds. Now this negative x will cancel with one of these, this negative x will cancel with one of these, so what does that leave us with? It leaves us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 x's, so plus 7x, and then the numbers on their own, we've got negative 3. Okay, so if you remove the brackets, that's what you should get. If you're using the loopy method, you should get the same thing. So, we've got from previously 6x squared add 7x minus 3. You can remove these brackets yourself to get x squareds, x's and numbers, and then do a great big takeaway to get your final answer. Question 2, adding and subtracting negative numbers. So we've got negative 3, add a negative 2, now take away a 5. Now I can't take away a 5 until I put it in. So there's my 5 I'm putting in, but I've got to compensate. Okay, so I can now take away the 5, so I can take away all of these, and then I've got to take away a negative 1, so you get your final answer. The second one, remember what we said in class, we need to do the brackets first of all. So I'm going to do positive 2, and then I'm going to have to add on a negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Things will start to cancel, so that's what you're left with. So 5 take away 4 lots of whatever this is, get your answer. Question 3, this is my picture of a book. War and Peace was reading the novel and had got 2/3 through it. So there's your book, split into thirds. So Warren had read all of these and then read all of these. So Warren's left with this third at the bottom. Now his teacher says read some more, so he reads another 3/4. So he is reading this part, this part, this part. So it leaves him with this small part in the corner here that he hasn't read. Okay, now this small part in the corner that he hasn't read is 1/4 out of this section, and we know this section is 1/3. So what he hasn't read is 1/4 of the third that was still to go, and you work out what that is. Question 4, Lady West in her garden, she's to put a fence around her pond, so around here is going to be a fence. Okay, so it's the circumference we're working out, so we're using the C equals pi d formula, C equals pi times. Now from the question, we know the radius is 6. If the radius is 6, then the diameter must be 12 to go in the formula. Work out the circumference, Keep that on your calculator, remember, and then times by the cost of the fencing to get your final answer. Question 5. The ice cube loses 30%. So that's 100 take away 30, which is 70%, which we can turn into a decimal as 0.7. We know it's melting for 7 minutes, not days, 7 minutes. And what's its starting volume? Now this is the interesting part in this question, because I haven't told you that. But you know it's a cube. You know it's got side 5. So you can tell me what size or what the volume of that cube is. Okay, it's not too difficult. And then you can actually finish the question off. How much will be left after 7 minutes? We take this part here, which is your multiplier, 0.7 to the power 7 for the 7 days, times your starting value, and you'll get the volume of the cube. Okay, remember it says answer to 2 significant figures. Okay, so 2 numbers in your answer, please. Question 6. Again, we've got another cube here and a cylinder. So the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. Okay, the question tells you what the radius is. The question tells you what the height is. So it's just a case of plugging those numbers straight into the formula. And believe it or not, the cube in this question is the same cube as the last one. 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres by 5 centimetres. So we know what the volume of that is. We did it previously. So the total answer is this answer here added to this answer here for its volume. Area, slightly more complicated. We're told in the question that for a cylinder the surface area is 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. We know the radius, we know the height, so again plug it in the formula. Now the surface area of a cube, it's got a top, it's got a front, it's got a side, it's got a back, it's got another side, and it's got a bottom. So it's got 6 faces all the same, and each face is 5 by 5, so that's 6 lots of 5 by 5. If you add those 2 together, you'll get the total surface area. However, that's not what's going to be painted, because remember, there's a cylinder sitting on here, so we can't get to that part of the cube, and we can't get to the bottom of the cylinder. So we're going to have to take away from all of this work, we're going to have to take away pi r squared for one circle. In fact, we're going to have to take away 2 pi r squared for both circles. Okay, for the circle which is here on the top of the cube, and the circle which is here on the bottom of the cylinder. So work all that out, do an add sum at this point, get your answer for the total surface area, and then remember to take off 2 pi r squared. Question 7, the plane journey that's going back from Sydney to New York. So the distance it's flying is still the same, 10,066 miles. Now the time it takes is 20 hours and 45 minutes. So the problem with this question is, what on earth are we going to put in our calculator for the 45 minutes? So for the decimal point here. Now you know that 45 minutes is equal to 3/4 of an hour. You should know what 3/4 is as a decimal to put in here to get the final answer. Okay guys, that should be us, hopefully a bit better than last week.